NOSFERO is a supernatural hero that is a cross between the Shadow, Peter Cushing's Abraham Van Helsing, and Lovecraft's Henry Armitage. The lone surviving member of the secret holy order, he is sworn to battle a cult of vampires dedicated to opening the door to the eldritch gods they worship. Striking from his crypt lair deep within an impenetrable mire, NOSFERO collects the cult's various grimoire and artifacts in an attempt to learn the means of defeating them. NOSFERO, meaning Iron Nose, underwent the ritualistic binding to the spirit world, wherein members of the secret order have a shard from a holy sword driven through their noses to allow them to access supernatural abilities. One such ability allows NOSFERO to summon Phantomas, a giant phantom hound that can travel through the nether to and from any location when needed. With no worldly attachments beyond his devotion to God, NOSFERO's world is forever changed when he rescues a beautiful young maiden named Laurel from one of the cult's vile sacrificial rituals. NOSFERO the Cryptwalker Volume 1 is my third Indiegogo campaign and will be a fully painted and lavishly illustrated pulp adventure story. Sensational, vivid, and uncompromisingly aspirational storytelling with an edge. Don't miss your chance to back NOSFERO the Cryptwalker Volume 1. Available for a limited time only on Indiegogo.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do you?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to
You
you,
smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No guts, huh?
There's a fire beneath my skin. There's a fever that makes me ill. Gotta love a love that kills. I got 24 hours to live. Come back. I'm down on my knees. Come back. I'm begging you, please.
Hey guys, welcome to Shanthan Jetty Art. I'm Shanthan Jetty. We are nearing 24 hours left in the first 30 days. I'm really excited about it. I've been kind of thinking about it a lot today because I think 30 days ago when we launched this thing, I had no idea how it was going to go. It was amazing to have that first night on Michael Bancroft's channel. I remember when the project funded, which was funny enough on live on Pete Cimetti's channel. So really just couldn't be happier with how things have been going. And it's a big deal to me to get to this 30 days and to have us where we are with this campaign. So thank you guys so much for being there. I'm doing some sketches and some more work right now. Doing some writing. Turn off the heat, man, it's crazy. But it's freezing here in New England. And yeah, just doing some work. I wanted to move the camera out. Let me see if I can zoom in now that I've got the camera shake thing a little bit better figured out, which is that if I keep the camera further away and just use the zoom on it, I'm in better shape. So yeah, so I basically was working on the same panels we were taking a look at. Hey, Stephen Rockwood, congratulations on having your piece in the book, by the way, man. It's fantastic. If you want a closer look at it, let me know. I'll grab the book and open it right up to that spread. But it's great to have you here. Hopefully you're getting some good relaxation time in. And yeah, well deserved, my friend. Well deserved. So yeah, so I'm just exploring some of the compositional elements of what we were taking a look at the other day. And it's funny because I was thinking about some of the suggestions you guys were making, and it was kind of interesting. I went through this whole process of trying to figure out, okay, what should I do here? What should I do there? And one of the things I'm trying to kind of put together with this right now is getting some more of that, the compositional strength I want, limiting how much is there. Because I'm dealing with a pretty pivotable. Can you tell what hour it is? I just was watching the live tweeting of Canelo Alvarez versus Caleb Plant. Another great fight. Another example of why Canelo is the best. I think one of the best Mexican fighters, the best Mexican fighter since Julio Cesar Chavez. Yeah, very exciting stuff. So I'm a little out of it. But I've been taking a look at this. Today I'm rendering my video. Oh, nice. Very cool. Yeah, those things, they can take a while to render, as I'm sure you know, man. It's craziness. I try to get when I was doing my video editing today for the unboxing, it's funny how, like, I'm learning a little bit more and more each time about how YouTube works, and you know, the various walls and hurdles that you kind of run into when you're doing stuff on it. But in this particular case right here, what you can see is I wanted to figure out how I was going to frame her in this, and when I did the composition initially, I was a little bit too close in on her, so I kind of zoomed it out, and then I wanted to do a little bit more of a refined drawing. And I decided it would be really good if she was, you know, kind of pulling a two-wheeled chaise, cart behind the horse. So the way that this whole narrative area or narrative situation works out is, and how the order basically gets destroyed, is that there's a book that's been sort of stolen out of their library where they keep all of the books, good, evil, or different. And this one book has some pretty evil powers and dark powers to it, so it gets stolen. And so she uses it to conduct a ceremony that allows her to have a child with one of these elder, you know, creatures. And she is now coming back, you know, under the guise of I've got this book that you guys are searching for, and I'm here to return it. And she's bringing with her that child, and that's sort of what we've got right here. And that's gonna start all kinds of trouble for our characters in the order. They are as good as done, and then it will be more of the same work that we're gonna see. So yeah, that's the plan for this page right here. And I just want to make sure that, you know, the thing about NOSFERO when I'm working on it is I want to make sure that I'm giving it that bigger reality and that bigger sense of space. So I was looking at that panel and I said, you know, I cropped in a little too tight, and this is an important backstory. I can always zoom if I want to, but what I don't want to do is start out with things so vague that it doesn't work as well. So, you know, and that's the thing that I've been doing whenever I get a chance, and I'm going back to this page. Although usually, if a page is working pretty well, I don't linger on it too long. So when I'm working on this page, I've got the combination, as you guys saw the other day, of, you know, wide shots, middle shots, you know, and then going out to places like this where we kind of zoom out. And all of the way that stuff works, if I move this way back here, there we go. The way that all of that stuff works is it kind of gives you that reality. So I haven't decided yet how crazy I'm going to get with the panel layout on this one. But my thinking is, you know, when I take this page to finish, but my thinking is I'm going to probably keep it somewhat conservative, because to me, it's that sort of conservative storytelling quality that allows people to get into the story, so that when you do more playful panel layouts, it's got a little bit more drama to it. So yeah, that's been the plan for this thing. And so, you know, it's coming together pretty well. And let me see what else I've got here, because I'm about to go into that process. But guys, it is so it's so great to be where we are right now in terms of the first 24 hours. Could not be happier that, you know, it's gone the way it's gone so far. And there's a lot more to do, but we're just going to keep working and seeing where it goes. So this is what this is the scariest thing in art one of the scariest things in art as far as I'm concerned. This is the blank page, and this is what I start with. So if I take this camera and move it up just a little bit more, you can get a decent look at what I start with. And so I haven't done this in a little while because I've been working on the pages that I already have. Sometimes there'll be little scuffs and things on the paper, so we'll get rid of that. I have a template that I use, if I can track it down. I have a template, let's see which one it is here. There we go. I have a template that I use for my pages, and I've got different sized ones depending on what the page is going to be. And they're just things that, they're just pieces of heavier weight, off-white, or what's it called? Gosh, what do they call this? Earth tones or whatever. And what I do with this is I can lay it over these pages, and it gives me the exact same borders that I need for all this work. And so these two right here, let me just double check and see where I'm at here. This one isn't the one I need. Gosh, neither one of those two. So those must be for other projects here. And then, let's see what I've got here. Because I would hate to have to rule this thing out, but you never know. Sometimes that's the way things go. So let me see here. It's not this one. Not this one. That's really strange. Usually I have it kicking around here, so let me see what I've got. Lots of artwork. This is the world we're living in. And just piles and piles of artwork. So let me see here. I can't believe it's not one of these, which makes me a little concerned that it's MIA. So we'll have to see where that went. This is, I know this is scintillating television right now, or scintillating dead air. But I have no idea where the hell I put that. Where'd that go? Oh well, we'll sort it. I guess we'll work loose for now. So, here we go. What is this piece of paper here? Oh, I see what that is. I'll have to show that to you guys later. Those are future potential stretch goals. So yes, I have a few pieces of artwork that are kicking around on my desk right now at the moment. All right. I think I see it. Let's see if this is it. Nope. Is that it? Yep. There you go. Let's see if this is it. Perfect. There it is. So yeah, so here's the process of how we start out our projects, and this is how I start out my pages. So, I'll start with a white piece of paper, a watercolor paper that's the 300-pound cold press watercolor paper. Make sure I got the right side. I feel like did I flip this somehow? No. 300-pound cold press watercolor paper. And then I take one of these boards that I already have ruled out. Let me see if I can get this even further out. There we go. That makes it a little easier to see. So I'll take one of these pre-lined out sheets of paper. Let's tip that. That kind of makes it a little bit more fun. I'll take one of these pre-lined out pieces of paper, and then I'm just going to put it as close to the center as I can. Now I know that this sheet of paper is square, or is got 90-degree angles on the corners, so it's not gonna give me something that's too wonky, which is one of the problems that I've run into before when I rule off the side of torn watercolor paper. It doesn't always guarantee me the most symmetrical image. So this is what we do. And you guys are seeing right here, just double check that a little bit. Yeah, it looks okay. Just move that just a hair. And then get that centered. And while it takes me a few seconds to get this all lined up and ready to go, it cuts down so much in the process to have a template that's ready to rock whenever you want to do this stuff. So here we go. Should probably stop using my double page spread as a a mat for underneath my drawings, but it's how it goes sometimes. There we go. There we go. So now I have a working space for a new page, and that's what's going to be. So now we're going to take a look at, make sure I've got this set up. So now I'm going to take a look and see this terrifying blank page and what I'm going to do with it. So let me see if I can move that over there. That could be interesting. Oops, sorry guys. No, it's going to cause that rippling effect that I can't stand. Alrighty, so here we go. So when I'm roughing in a page like this, I try to gauge about where I want those lines to be that we've been looking at. And I'm pretty happy overall with the placement of the panels. So I'm probably going to have the top panel be to about this scale, and then I'm going to have the bottom panel be a little bit more narrow. Not by much, though. And it may seem odd that I'm not using a ruler for this, but one of the reasons why I don't use a ruler at this stage is because sometimes I want to do something that's a little bit more asymmetrical at some point, and this gives me room to play as I'm moving. Drawing smart, yeah, that's right. Absolutely, that's what it's about. Yeah, you got to do stuff like this. You got to cut this down, you know, Stephen Rockwood, and it's like it's a part of the process for me that the sweet science happens in the composition phase. And sometimes the thing about compositions, the thing about comics for me, is that I find that it's really easy for me to get, to kind of draw. I used to do these really detailed, not even detailed, somewhat detailed but very meticulous layout process. And what I found is every step of the drawing, it got more and more dead. And so that was one of the things that I vowed to not get sucked into as I was doing this work. And so as I rough in what these figures are going to be, I know this panel right here has to be a certain kind of narrowness. And it's interesting because as I was working on this panel, the thing I was of course thinking about is the panel that's right here underneath it with that close-up of the eye. I love these close-up eye panels, and at the same time it's the opposite side of that character's face. So I want to make sure that I get that kind of mirror image of those two, because those two are going to go to war, and just like Canelo and Caleb Plant for that matter. And yeah, I want to make sure that it's got a really, it's just got a really nice aesthetic to it. At the same time, when the eye moves over to this side of the page and you've got that nice diagonal, it's going to help to guide you where you need to go. And then this, of course, is going to be where we have this right down here. Move the camera a little bit. This down right here. Why that light is so bad. Sorry about that. Let's see here. Let's try that and see if that slows down. Does not make any sense to me why. Oh, it could be that light right there. Why that light has that ripple there. So when we get down to this panel right here, this is where I have had, the cross sort of thing, although I'm still working out that whole thing, burst into flames. And then we're going to have that in there. And then this side right here is where the edge of that monastery is going to be. So this is kind of like our slow zoom in on that monastery so we can get what's happening here. And the problem for me is going to be, not moving the camera around as much, or not moving the camera around too much, so that people can still track where things are going, which is why I'm kind of using this this panel, this panel a little bit more judiciously in terms of I'm not going in for a deep zoom on it, because I think that's what will get you into trouble sometimes when you're storytelling. And so I'm going to keep the camera on the front side of this cart. That's going to help me to mirror this, as I've got the tentacles kind of coming outside of the little cage type thing that she's pulling right there. And then I go here, and it's still a front view, and then here I go back to a 180 degree flop that's happening right there. So we'll see how it goes. There we go. All right. So how's everybody doing tonight? How are you doing, Steven? Are you having a good vacation? I hope. Getting a little bit of a break in there. There we go. So that's going to make some sense. And then let me move this over here. Yeah, I was watching the live sort of, Twitter thing of the fight, and this has been such a bizarre sort of week, with the Image Comics Union thing and all that other stuff that I've been keeping track of, and it just feels like I'm living in this surreal world right now of, I don't know how to describe it, just a lot of things like, Image Comics was a big deal to me growing up, and to sort of see that and the stuff that goes on with Disney and the stuff that goes on with Star Wars, sometimes it's just a lot to take in, and I've been sort of trying to enjoy older entertainment this last couple of weeks, and then also just something that's really tough for me is reminding myself where we were when we started this campaign, and how grateful I am about it, and trying to celebrate that, and be excited about it. So there you go. I'm chilling. There you go. That's right. There you go. Yeah, it's that's a huge part of it. Oh, speaking of, let me see if where is it? I have to track that down. But it was great to see your piece in there, and I hope you get it in Canada soon. I mean, it must be freezing up there. It's cold down here, so it's got to be cold up there. There we go. And if there's one thing I can say about this process is everything you ever see me do starts like this. It's like here's your let's see if I can make that happen. Here's your side by side of my process right there. From these scribbles to that right there, it all starts the same way, and that's going to be my goal as I'm developing these pages, is to kind of make that stuff happen, make that stuff come together, and make all the pages have that richer sort of quality to it. And so as I kind of rough this stuff out, my mindset is right now on where all of the aspects of the grimoire are going to be and how to put all that stuff together. It was actually still nice today. Oh, nice. Excellent. 5 degrees. Oh, jeez. Well, you and I clearly have different definitions of nice, but I appreciate it. I know you're a Canadian, so you are familiar with real weather. So much respect, much love. But yeah, so yeah, that's my big plan. Oh, so something I wanted to make sure I announced today, or said today, or made note of, because the other aspect of these streams for me that's is amazing is I'm able to kind of go back and look at where things were at various points. So here's the big thing for today. My wife and I had talked about this campaign when we launched, and what our hope was for the first 30 days of it. And the big thing that we came back around to is we really wanted it to surpass the funding that was achieved in our first campaign. And if you know anything about Indiegogo, the first campaign you don't get to have you don't get to go in demand, you don't get to do any of that stuff until you've funded one campaign successfully. So we didn't have any options, and we just stopped it at 30 days because it was our first campaign, and we've passed that total of our first 30 days with this campaign, which is really great to know. One thing I'm used to when I was starting a drawing and painting is actually not to wear my glasses to begin with, so I wouldn't try to focus on details. I'm still working on that. It's funny. Yeah, it is a really good skill. I used to tell my students that, to just take off their glasses and then look at their drawings and see them, how they looked as they were, when they were in a less detailed state. And I am actually, I don't know if you're like this, I sometimes do that when I'm doing the layout pages, and then sometimes I will take my glasses off during the finishing stage just to make sure that everything is coming together and working. So yeah, it does. I mean, it's very much the way that things go. You have to kind of not get too in your own head. What's very strange to me right now is when I'm doing my pages, is I've been working with these glasses and I'm still getting used to them. So when I'm working on a page like this, and then and this is actually I shouldn't zoom out. This is a really good example. I'll be working on a page like this, and this is my thumb, and this page is gonna get reduced. And so I think to myself, wow, I gotta take my glasses off every now and again just to see like, what are these things going to look like when they get reduced? Like, putting the bats into this piece, one of the bats is going to bite her, and I was like, wow, this is crazy stuff. So yeah, that's one of the things that it takes a lot of adjusting for me with the glasses, you know, is how to put that stuff together. So yeah, putting this figure, Lavinia, who is like she's kind of the catalyst for this story, and she is evil as all get out, but she's working for somebody who's a little bit more powerful, and so that's been kind of my trick is, how do I introduce her, and what is she wearing, and what is she like, and you see what she wears typically in the first book, but I kind of get to have her looking over her shoulder a little bit here, and she's riding a horse, and then she's looking back over her shoulder, which is something I really want to do right there as she's riding up, and I might even lower her a little bit in frame. But the whole idea is to do the same thing I was doing, but with less characters, because her I tried a couple of different things with this in my narrative, and the more elements that I introduced, the more it became cumbersome and kind of distracting for how the story was going to go. And so this panel right here and this page starts out with a quote from Revelations, which I thought would be fitting, which is, the pale horse. And of course, I couldn't help the pale horse, of course. I couldn't help but think about the way that was quoted in the movie Tombstone with Val Kilmer, which was one of my favorite Western movies, and probably a lot of people's. I started thinking about the pale horse, and only in this case, it's more of she is the rider, she is death, and or she is carting death with her, perhaps is a good way of putting it. And so that's been my goal for this, is to try to really create something visually. So I'll put a little bit of the mountainside right there and the path going down, because I really want to give a sense of space on this. When someone's in this story, I want it to feel like they're going through the coolest theme park ride or haunted house they've ever been on. So I'm going to put that right in there, and then of course we'll have the little tentacles of Drake Dulu coming out of there, who is just going to be a really fun, cool villain. And he does need dental work, as some of you have pointed out. Oh my goodness gracious. What a day. It's funny, I was just watching Ethan's drawing stream over on his channel, and it's just so funny to watch how other artists work, and how we just all kind of you just sit down and you gut it out. You just kind of, it's not that it's not fun. It's so fun, but it's just you sit down and there's something very, unromantic about it in large part. And I enjoy it, and it's great, but I understand, I can understand. It's one thing that I think is great about other artists, is that we all kind of understand, just the work aspect of it, and how we put the stuff together. That's what's so cool about it. It's like fighters or boxers talking about training and all that other stuff, and how to go 12 rounds and that kind of thing. Let me see here. There we go. Oh, and something else I should mention, and I'm sure it'll be, I'll give more details on my Twitter and things when it happens, but I was just messaging back and forth with Clayton Barton, and he is, I'm going to be going on his show, I think on, is it tomorrow already, because it's Sunday late, so I'm going to be going on Clayton's show, so that should be fun. And I was just looking at his work in the mail-in book. But I can't tell you guys how, I know I keep saying it, but it's really true. I really appreciate everybody's support, and this has been a big decision, and this has been a big journey for me to do this book and get to this point where I'm doing this. And I don't know. It's gone exactly how I sort of hoped it would go in this funding period, the first 30 days, and I know what I want to do going forward. I want to really put in some really great stretch goals and that kind of thing. So I think it's going to be on Monday, so not Sunday. I know. I think you're in the. Are you in the same time zone I'm in? I'm in Eastern Standard Time. You might be a little further over though. But yeah, it's going to be on Monday, and I think we're doing Monday Eastern Standard Time at 9 is what he said. But he'll confirm it, I'm sure, on Twitter when we get to that point. So we'll be talking shop, and I don't know if you can tell this, but my brain is a little fried from talking about my work, and I've been sort of putting my nose to the grindstone, and just it's a lot, man. It's so cool. Like I can't believe how so much of this has happened. So a little bit of backstory on this project, and I'd love to know. Let me just see where it is here. Hang on a second. Let's see if I can do this on stream. No, I'm on Mount. There you go. Canadian Prairies. There you have it. Let me see here. Bart Sears is posting cool stuff. One of my former students, Thomas Calamari, who's a great dude, just sent me a congratulations message. This is one of the people who, if you're watching this, Thomas, I mean, just say this. You're one of the people that was the hardest part of leaving that job. I remember saying that to my wife. My wife even said that, I think, without prompting. She goes, "Oh, but it's going to be Thomas's senior year." Think about that for a minute. It's always been someone's senior year for 18 years, but I just have to tell you, man, I appreciate it. I appreciate you, and you're one of my favorite students of my entire teaching career. So, yeah, do with that what you will. But let me just check and see when it is. So, when I was speaking of that decision, I was, I think it's right here. There we go. So, yeah, so it was January, February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, so pretty much on the exact same, around the exact same time that I was making the decision to leave academia, I was trying to figure out what I was going to do, and I wanted to be Comicsgate. I saw this stuff happening, and I knew I didn't have the ability to do a comic book that was going to require everything I had while still doing, all the other things I had, and with all of the various other things. And then I had, some big decisions to make about the nature of what academia was and how all that stuff was. So I sent, I knew the deadline was coming up, and I finished off my Lily piece, sent it to Mark, and I said, I don't even know if it's too late, for this piece, or if it's going to get in the book. And within 15 minutes, my wife and I drove out, and I had been, at that point, I'd been sort of, frankly, praying about the decision a lot and thinking about what I was going to do, looking for answers. And I kid you not, one day I'm going to have to do a stream on this. You guys will think I'm crazy. But I was thinking about it a lot, and I thought, okay, I'm just going to go out and just figure out what's happening. So I went out with my wife, and we just went for a drive to go run some errands. And right when I was sitting in the parking lot of the Walgreens in our town, I heard back from Mark. I had just sent it off, and he goes, "Awesome, you got it in, great, and it'll be in the book." And I was like, I don't know why, but it felt like a big deal at that time, because I was just really torn that day. And then on our way pulling out of the parking lot, I saw I was going, I said, "See, babe, sometimes, you just got to listen to the signs from the universe." And one of the things that happened was my wife, we looked right in front of us, and she goes, "Honey, I don't know how I feel about this stuff." She looks directly in front of us, and the car in front of us, the license plate said Angel 1. And we laughed, and we were just like, we're going to go with it. I said, "You see," because I had just been talking to her about all this kind of craziness of making this decision. And we're big fans of the movie Castaway. And it had those wings from Castaway that are on the package with, if you haven't seen that movie with Tom Hanks, great flick. And, we were just kind of realizing it's sometimes you kind of just have to go for it. You kind of just have to go for it, and you have to decide what you want to do with your life. And sometimes you have to stand on principle. And I've been thinking a hell of a lot about that today. I've often made tough decisions when nobody was looking. I've often tried to say not even the right thing. I've always tried to do the right thing by my principles and not because it was expedient. And I just need to be honest with myself when I'm doing things, and I can't be a part of anything that I think is not in line with that. And so that was one of the things that was really tough about it. But I think when you make those choices, it's a really good movie. I mean, what do you do with your time, right? Like, what do you do when you're when you're here by yourself and time is fleeting, and what are we left with when we're there? And I've always had a really good I've always been able to tolerate certain aspects of things, isolation and all that kind of stuff, and having to sort things out on my own. But one of the things that I can't really sort of deal with is how do I word it? I've got to feel like I'm doing something that is positive, that I believe in, and it doesn't really it's one of those nagging aspects of my personality, and I'll work my tail off if that's the case. If I think that's the case, I will put in all the time in the world. And because I know how to put in the time and the work when it's not the case, because that's just life. But in this case, I was kind of, it was just a different situation than I think we've ever really, or at least in my lifetime, that I've ever seen. So yeah, it was a crazy thing. And so a bunch of that stuff that seemed to happen around that time kind of just helped me to make that decision a little bit easier. So yeah, so here you go. This is what we're talking about here. And let me see if I can move the camera so the lighting's a little bit better. Yeah, the paint's just wet. So we've got this character, and I'm going to do where the path is that they're coming from up here, and then there's going to be the Rocky Canyon, and that's going to give us the rest of this piece, But it's movies like that. Movies have always been something that I've looked to for, guidance and advice, and I have movies for everything. And, for me, I love to teach. I love to teach people how to do things. I like to talk to people about work. But this is something that is, it's one of those dreams that you have as an artist to put out work. And so after art books 1 and 2, this is sort of like the next logical step, and couldn't be happier with it. And so now I basically am making sure I'm keeping track of everything that I can keep track of, and making my unboxing videos and just trying to promote projects as much as I can. Someone was saying this the other day, and I think it's really true, that the biggest, or it was Shane, I think Shane Davis was saying this the other day, that some of the best streams and the streams that people seem to enjoy the most, let me move this a little closer, this is annoying, I don't know why I've got it so far away from me, but some of the streams that people enjoy the most are the streams where people are promoting other people's books. And I do think that's going to be job one for me, in terms of I want to talk about, there's a lot of books I want to talk about, and I want to set up a way of doing that. But I thought that was a really good feedback, is what are you going to talk about in these streams? So I've got a bunch of different ideas I'm working on right now as I develop the YouTube thing. There's a steep learning curve, but I think it's going pretty well. There we go. There. So yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is going to be zooming in on this eye and seeing where it goes, and that's going to be the shot that kind of brings people together on this. And then let's see what else I've got to do here. I've got this, I've got that, and there you go. Just double checking that I've got everything I need. So the next thing I've got to figure out is what this temple is going to look like. And that's a tricky thing to do, because I do need it to have a certain amount of, romanticism to it, and it needs to feel like something that you're not going to see every single day. I'm not painting a landscape at the moment, and so this isn't really a landscape painting, so I've got to think about what would make it interesting and more compelling. Yeah, I love when he does that too. Yeah, that's true. You know what? I gotta get in touch with him about going on Comicsgate Presents. I haven't. I know Comicsgate Presents is for campaigns that are in their last 30 days, so I didn't really, feel like I was in a position to really ask about that. But I think I'm gonna reach out about that, certainly before I'm completely done with this campaign, because I do think it would be good. I've been, as you guys know, I've been getting out on a lot of streams. There's more streams to do. So right here, let me zoom on that so you guys can see it. Hang on. Oh, I already zoomed in. I have to move the camera down. Hey, what's up? It's good to see you. Speaking of campaigns that I'm excited about. Oh, wow, that's so cool. Sorry, let me read that aloud so people listening can hear it. I'm getting really bad at this. I know we aren't very big, but Dan, is it Pleagle and I are artists of the book and calling Goblin Girl, and we were just talking about, God, I can't read, guys. We were just talking about have you and talk with the book. I'd love to. Oh, geez, guys, what is this, an Inquisition? Thank you so much. Yes, I will. I will absolutely go on your show. It's ain't nothing but a thing. I'd be happy to go on your show. I mean, I've just, like I said, this is like Comicsgate. Comicsgate has been like drinking from a fire hose for me. It's just been a lot of stuff happening and a lot of opportunities to promote books, and my head is still kind of spinning. But yeah, I'm big fans of you guys too, and that's one of the books I want to talk about. So we'll absolutely have to do that. And if you guys want, at some point, not even at some point, if you guys want, we can do a test, because I have not had a guest on my show yet, and I'm not sure how it works. So it could be a total disaster. I don't use StreamYard, I use something else. But if you guys are game, I'd love to have you on the show to talk. Just let me know and we'll do a test, and we don't have to it can be a private test video. But I had to do that with Andy Smith, and I did a test for his audio one time like that. But I'm half worried that it will not work if I try it. Hey Lloyd, how you doing, boss? Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, and good night, my friend, and thank you for everything. I appreciate it. I'm looking forward to doing the Bride of Frankenstein piece for you. It's going to be, I'll make sure it's awesome. I promise. Good to have you there. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you guys will be. But more than you know. Things will go sideways at that point, because I'm going to be learning what I'm doing. But you know what? It's every single thing I've been doing has been new in the last that's what I was talking to my wife about today. We were talking about having teenagers. We were talking about, kids and our whole, situation, that we've been on in the last year or so. And I said everything has been so completely new in a lot of ways for the last couple of months that I've been doing, the build up to this campaign and promoting it. And I'm just kind of going with the process. I'm just like, let's do this thing, And it's like people like Lloyd and yourself, and of course Stephen Rockwood, who backed the campaign and just keep retweeting stuff and putting things out there, man. You guys are great, and I just really want to help to grow Comicsgate. That is one of my big goals. I've been seeing all these amazing streams, but I would love for so I was talking to my buddy Nick today on the phone, and I was trying to describe to him what the time period that Comicsgate is reminds me of. And I was talking about the late 70s, early 80s, the studio, Barry Windsor Smith and all those guys, and what was happening in entertainment, Frank Miller on Daredevil. And I said we were coming out of this period where there was kind of needed to be this rebirth of the art form, and it feels like it happens, leading to things like Love and Rockets and The Rocketeer and all that stuff. And I really feel like that's what Comicsgate is. And I want to make sure that I'm doing my bit to help, grow it and promote it. And, just being a face that's out there when people are looking at the hashtag and they're seeing, my paintings and things like that. I want it to be something that gets people excited, going, oh, I didn't know that Comicsgate could be that too. Like everything that, when people try to limit us and talk about us as if we're, this very narrow kind of thing, it drives me a little bit crazy, because anybody who knows, Comicsgate knows that there's just tons of different work in it. And that's the cool part of it. That's the very cool part of it. So yeah, it's been a crazy day, and tomorrow I'm sure it'll be overwhelming. Just the sense of getting to that milestone. And I never thought when we started this. Speaking of Lloyd Burton here, is I never thought that that the head sketches would sell out so fast. I mean, it's crazy to watch those tiers go. But I've got more planned. Don't worry. I've got more cool stuff planned. And, yeah. Looking forward to it. It's been one of the best times in the world. truly. And I am very grateful for it. There we go. Just trying to think about how I want to make that eye happen, because this character's got a lot of features that I want to like that in this composition are going to be harder to show, but I want to make sure that I'm keeping the character where it needs to be. So back to this little monastery castle that we've got up here. Oh, let me see here. Oh, there you go. Yep, it's true. Yeah, you absolutely hit the nail on the head. My wife and I talk about it a lot. It's it's that whole thing is, people say about, if your business isn't growing, it's dying, and if and if an art form or a movement isn't growing, it's dying. I think that there are different ways that things can grow. Sometimes they're with quality, and sometimes they're parasitic. They're like viruses that just grab things. Comicsgate is not like that, the latter. It's the former. It's more and more creative people are being pulled into it, and that's what's making it cool. I knew, I got the autocorrect. I knew what you meant. Yeah, I knew you meant Comicsgate. And it is. It's where everybody who's doing interesting stuff is. It's where it's where you're free. You know what I mean? It's where you're free to do things. When I see stand-up comics on the scene, trying to put their stuff out there and trying to, really push the envelope, it's like they're like getting chased out of every single place. The spaces they're getting chased out of are the same spaces that Comicsgate's getting chased out of, and that's great. That's a great scene because we'll be the scene. I think we already are the scene, to be honest. America is really, and young American artists and Western artists, I should say, are really young people coming up are really crying out for some art that's exciting. I think manga is great, but I think and I think it'll always be, but I think it's kind of hitting a saturation point. Even for, I always think about people overseas, particularly in Japan, who are kind of like waiting for America to do some artwork that will inspire, and get them excited about the next stage of what their work's going to be, just like we've done historically. And I think we're there. I think we're about to do it. And I think at the very least we're creating a scene that's going to have some real impact on artists and the art form. So yeah, I'm a big believer in that. And could not be happier of where we are. Like, I think that we're doing it. And I just, every time a book comes in the mail, I feel like I've had a couple of days of campaigns filling and sending me work, and it's been great. It's great to see. And I can't wait to, I was looking at all the books I've sent out. It was great to see. I don't know if any of you guys watched Michael Bancroft's stream the other night, but he showed the 2 stickers and the 2 pieces of artwork that I sent him that he won at the auction. And I just was like, that is just, I love when people get the stuff I'm mailing out. The fulfillment is fun, and that's kind of one of the biggest bits of fulfillment I'm going to get to do, which is sending him those 2 pieces of artwork, and then the stickers, and seeing his reaction. It was really great. It reminded me why I'm doing this so much, which is I just love sending people artwork. Oh yes, and the I mentioned this in the unboxing stream, but I am gonna put this out on Twitter that the Graveyard Shift piece, the painting of Lily, is available for anyone who's interested in backing it, or buying it. I should say, not backing it. I could always put it as a perk, but I'm not sure. There we go. Yeah, I think that's gonna work for this scene right here, and we'll see how it goes. All right, guys, let's see where we are. So now I just got to take a look at the notes here and figure out where the plot's going to go. Look at all you guys. Hey, what's up, OC Steve? How are you doing? It's good to see you, brother. I feel like you and I have been like running into each other on streams a lot lately. So we're going to have to do that again soon. That was a blast. How's your day been going? Good? How's the Weebery? I hope it's going well. Oh my gosh, it's so crazy how many of you guys I've gotten to meet in the last, month. So cool. I feel like I you know, again, to steal from Michael Bancroft, where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. Let me see. Do you generally do layouts one page at a time? No, I don't. It depends on the day. So, or it depends on what I'm trying to solve. So, I hold the entire book pretty much in my head, and so I've got the imagery there, and so I kind of just grab things and move them around in my head is the best way. Oh, what very nice. Your wife got a PS5. Yeah, hey, OC Steve. Yeah, and of course, Billy Vasco is here. Or, I can always pronounce your name wrong. I just say Vasco, and it's a Baxo. It's Baxo. I can't do it. I don't know why I can't pronounce it right. You're going to have to help me with that and spell it out. But yeah, I mean, it just totally depends. So, for example, when I was in college, someone asked me to recite Return of the Jedi for them from memory. My brain's always been weird that way. I can remember used to be able to remember the first, middle, and last name of every person I ever met. It is what it is. So I went out with this guy for his birthday, and he goes, I heard you can recite Return of the Jedi from start to finish. Can you do it? And I was like, sure. And he's like, really? All right, try it out. I want to know. And I was like, command stations, SD-321. We're starting approach. Deactivate security shield. Security shield deactivated. We have confirmation code transmission. Stand by. Clear to proceed. We're starting approach. And I went through the entire movie, and I think we were 40 minutes in. He's like, all right, I believe you can stop. So yeah, that's how it goes. The lithograph would make an amazing blacklight poster. Oh yeah, there you go. It's like Tabasco without the ta. I like it. See, that's how I've been pronouncing it, so maybe I wasn't off. But yeah, I gotta tell you guys, Goblin Girl looks fantastic, and I really am excited about the fact that people are doing this very illustrative, beautiful style of work. But then it's crazy, right? Someone tell me a stylistic that doesn't fit in Comicsgate other than SJW storytelling, and I'd love to hear it, because I look at the diversity. I know that word's been ruined by idiots, but I look at how much crazy different stuff we're all doing, and it's exciting. I don't want it all to look the same. I want it to be different. I mean, let me just see what I've got here within arm's reach. Here you go. So I've got Downcast sitting here. I've got in my giant stash of Graveyard Shift stuff here. I've got Starblades right over there, which I can't reach without knocking over the table. I've always worked in different, stylistics when I'm doing my work. But here's something for you. All right, since we've just got like a few people here in the chat, I'm going to do something I haven't done before. Do you guys want to see the second issue of my first self-published book and what my artwork looked like back in... Let me see what year this was. Hang on a second. What my artwork looked like when I had just gotten out of college. And this would have been in the year... God, there's stuff everywhere. This would have been in 2002. Are you guys... No spoilers, but would NOSFERO ever have a crossover with Graveyard Shift? He'd have to travel through time, but if John Malin wanted me to do a crossover with Graveyard Shift, I'd be there in a minute. That'd be awesome. I'd love to do a crossover with so many people. Aaron Lopresti's book is perfect for that. Wraith of God is perfect for a crossover. All right, are you sure, Stephen Rockwood? Are you game? Are you game for this? Do you want to see what my first out of college, indie published, written, penciled, inked, and lettered? The writing is terrible, and the artwork is the opposite of the style I work in right now. But I did everything on it. All right, you guys ready? Let me get some ones in the chat here to do this. I've only got 2 people watching, so I can all I need is 2 ones, and I'll be there. Hit a 1 if you're ready for this. Otherwise, I ain't showing it. It's like playing the violin. I don't know if I've got the heart to show it otherwise. So we'll go from there. But yeah, this is the stuff that inspires me. So yeah, NOSFERO, because of the pet dog that he has, which is, or I should say the dog that he's connected to, that demon dog thing, he can travel. My college work is... All right, so guys, let's do it live. Okay, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Fuck. All right, here we go. Fuck. Only for you guys. Here you go. This right here is a comic book I did in 2002 that I self-published way back in the days of Diamond. And this is what my artwork used to look like. And this is one of my characters from that time period. And I am thinking about, my wife is saying that because we have a lot of copies of issue 2 left over. She goes, we should make that a stretch goal, that if you hit a certain number, that we'll put this in with people's books. So there you go. You guys want to see some interior artwork? God, it's going to be horrible. You guys want to see this is like I learned Photoshop on issue 1. So this is my second issue of doing Photoshop. So do you guys want to see some interiors or no? Do you want to move back? Looks like a celestial. There you go. I don't know exactly. You have to explain to me what a celestial means. So I'll know what it is. But it's a gigantic worm, interestingly enough, with Groucho Marx glasses on. And I thought it would be really funny to create a character called the Annelid that was just a worm in a mechanical suit, funny enough. But the joke of that was the fact that this thing was just smacking into buildings and was just really pathetic. And then, of course, people were like, oh, this reminds me of Earthworm Jim. Again, the irony is not lost on me. All right, I'm going to show you guys some interior pages here. Here you go. So this is what my pen and ink work looks like. And I think this has been in a few How to Draw Comics book, interestingly enough. And so this is the stuff that I was doing way back then. Pen and ink and Photoshop. Oh, no, yeah. Gotcha. That totally makes sense. And so, yeah, this was my character that I created and was drawing around that time. And I just was really super into the hand lettering and inking it and coloring this stuff in. And this was one of the first, when people ask me, have you ever done any comic book stuff before? I've done more than my share of comic book things, but nothing on the scale of this. I should do a stream where I see, oh my God, yeah. People see that, this is the thing, Steven, you got to understand. People do not believe me when I say how much I was into Todd McFarlane. They absolutely do not believe it. Yeah, guys. How do I word this? I'm trying to think of like how much stuff I have kicking around here. Like this is probably going to cause a massive collapse. And I'm going to hit the speaker with my head, but let's cause an avalanche. You guys deserve an avalanche. I want you to look I don't know if you can see it behind me, but all of these books and things that I have right here just did a massive like tip right here. They're probably going to fall over in a second. But I'll show you some stuff if this is the right book. If not, oh my God, yeah. Image Comics was huge influence on me. So do you guys want to see some work I was doing a couple of months before I started NOSFERO? You guys ready for this? Here you go. Whew, this sketchbook's been through some things. I'm going to have to zoom myself out just a little bit, and you guys are going to see a whole nother aspect of my work right here. So move the camera up just a little bit more. Move this out. And there we go. And I have to move this up. Sorry for all the exciting sound effects here. Right about there. Here you go. Yeah, there is. Here you go. So here's a black and white story that I was messing around with a couple of months ago. So let me get the light on it a little bit more. We'll see if we can get this to work. There we go. It's a little bit better. So this is me working in black and white. And we'll take a look at some of these pages. So sometimes I work in just this is how I do exploring sketches here. And this is some of the stuff I was doing then. And there you go. These are some of the creatures. This is more of a kind of more violent action comic story that I was working on. And this is one of those things that could still very much be in this world that I do, but this will give you a sense of the kind of stuff that I was doing around that time. Thanks, Stephen Rockwood. This is for you. I knew you'd appreciate seeing the black and white stuff. And so this was a story where I was dealing with or exploring the Filipino myth of the Manananggal, if you know your vampire lore. And so this is the stuff I was doing, and I enjoy doing this kind of stuff. It's fun to do, and I just had a blast, playing around with this. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, those creatures are amazing, aren't they? The Manananggal from Filipino lore. And so here's another panel of the kind of spiritual gladiatorial ring where the character is, and he's just defeated all of these creatures. And then a gigantic axe comes crashing down. I gotta move my camera out a little bit more so you guys can see this. A gigantic axe comes crashing down, and the wielder of said axe is this guy right here. And so here's the page where he's looking up as this other character comes down who's kind of overseeing the tournament between these characters. This is kind of like him being tested in this world. So this is a pretty good example of like the kind of the way I think about characters and the kinds of things that I like to come up with when I'm doing this type of work. And so, if you like this kind of stuff, and like this type of work, this is exactly, this is the stuff. Oh, yeah, I did a kind of Quinlan take, but I made him look like, where is that? Speak of the devil. So, if you wonder how much of a fan of this, oh gosh, I think I've shown you that, haven't I, though? But this is a custom paint job I did of the Blu-ray case from the Strain that had the little bust on it, and I wanted to kind of do a custom paint job and add some detail to it. Not only has your technique grown, but your painting is story. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I mean, guys, when I say, like, I've been dedicated to comics my entire life. Again, first self-published comic was, like, at 14. I've been developing this stuff so much and working. So the jump from what you were seeing, the second issue of that comic I was showing you, that's the jump from 2002. This is about 20 years later. 20 years later of working. And by the way, during that time, I was working and doing painted illustrations. So it's not like I wasn't doing paintings. But when I tell you that everything is coming together for this on this comic book, I'm not kidding around. I mean, I really sort of had this kind of, breakthrough of, oh, hey, this is possible. And, like, all these things can work together, and these things don't need to be there anymore. And I really, it's been a long sort of journey to this book. And, my skill set has definitely grown a bit. But what anyone who knows me as an artist, and all of my friends will tell you, is the huge jump in my work started with Art Books 1 and Art Book 2. I mean, this guy came on the scene with this art book, and that was huge. Oh, you know what? And seriously, hold on a second. How can I do this in a way that's going to work? Because it's too big for me to move. That's the problem. I don't think I can do it. Because, wait, this is upside down. So if I move it, that's gonna bust. Well, I'm going to do a really weird angle here. Move this over. So if you look over there in my house by the window, we still have our Halloween stuff up. In the middle is a statue of the Master. And I love the Master from the Strain. I can't believe that's how tired I am. But I love the character of the Master. I think it's just a really cool character. I love Guillermo del Toro. We've talked about that before. But this was the moment. These two art books, they were the moment. And you can just see, like, all of the influences. Alphonse Mucha, Frank Frazetta, Guillermo del Toro, my 140 backers. That was book 1. My brother, Nicholas, mi hermano. I love that I spelled that off. And then here's his introduction in the book. But as you go through this stuff... Oh, thank you. Guys, it's been a lifetime of work. As you know, I know you guys all know this because you're watching it, you're seeing it, you're in the game. But it's to get to the point that I'm at right now where I'm creating the kind of imagery, the surreal, beautiful imagery that I wanted to be creating my entire life as an artist has been really amazing and great to see. And, NOSFERO the Crypt Walker is just going to be the third book in this journey, and it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a real blast to see come together. Let me see if I can I cannot stand how the light is working here. I guess it's because that light's my dominant light right now. So let me see if I can move that off and make this work. So, yeah. I mean, this is what it's all about. Good morning, Tommy. Good to see you. Top of the morning to you, my friend. And so as we put this stuff together, and again, you guys have seen this piece, but this is our my shape of water piece that I did with gold and silver paint, Kong and all that stuff. And then you come to Rigor Mortrex, and it's like Rigor Mortrex on the cover of this book. This is how far things were kind of were coming on this book. Is that that's the first painting I did of NOSFERO, is on the cover of this book, and it was almost like a sign of things to come. This is where I sign all the books, and it'll be the same with NOSFERO. And then if you buy a head sketch inside of your book, that's where I do the head sketches. Same thing. Special thanks to my brother, my wife, and my kids, of course, to Todd McFarlane. So there's the homage to what influenced my other stuff. And then I have the Wolfman, Count Orlok, the Haunted Mansion, and my 94 backers, especially Cameron Scott Davis, who's a friend of mine who did all the concept art for Guitar Hero, the first couple of those, and then Brian Stelfree's my teacher, of course. Here's Cameron's introduction. He's not as verbose as Nick, but then who is? And then there you go. This is the start of my Comicsgate experience right here. Like, outside of all the stuff I was doing, the videos and things I was doing for people, this is where the character was born that is making all this stuff happen. There's my Headless Horseman piece that I did. Yeah. If you borrow or steal a color palette from one of my pieces, I'll tell you where I stole it from. How about that? Yeah, you're stealing from a criminal with stolen goods, so you never have to worry about that. And then here's yeah, this book's gonna be beautiful, guys. I just can't wait. You know, I cannot wait for my third book. I took a big pause between the second and third book because I needed to wrap up things at work, and I also needed to come up with what the story was going to be. And I took actually, funny enough, when you're looking at that black and white work I was doing, that's the pause. That's the break between this book and NOSFERO. I was like, I need to just try my hand at comics. And then all of a sudden I thought, people want me to paint in color, and I want to paint in color now, and I think I'm ready. I think I can do it. And so, yeah, here you go. There's the mummy's womb, which I love. These characters are going to be showing up in NOSFERO later on. That's my Frankenstein and mummy design. I have not done any Skeletor pieces, and I will tell you this. The first time I do a Skeletor piece, it's going to be a commission. Someone's going to commission me to do a Skeletor piece, because I really think that's a matter of time. Like, every time you see me paint a skull, someone will say to me, you should do a Skeletor piece. Oh my god, yeah. I still yeah, that's how it is with me. Oh, I love boxing, so this is based on former heavyweight champ Deontay Wilder. And I just liked his look, I liked his stance, so I wanted to make him into a character. And then here you can see, guys, this is me setting up for Comicsgate, folks. This is me exploring, like, what would my, am I going to do a painted comic? Is this really about to happen? And checking my color palette, and I love this little story page right here that I did, just for fun, And then here's another one that was fun to do, The Witch's Hollow, which was a play on words there in both meanings, both in terms of the witch is and the witches is sort of what I was doing there. And then there's one of my figures right there, and my werewolf. And then here's the rest of that story. And this was just a fun little, almost like a poem story-wise. Like, it's not overly complicated, but I always put my kids in all my art books at certain points. So this is a photo of my kids when they were babies, my twins right there. So I took a photo of them playing together, sitting on the floor. And yeah, I'm that dude. Let's see if that'll focus. And they just had this little interaction where he was looking down and she was looking over at him, and I thought, I gotta put that there. And so yeah, and that's the story's kind of about parenthood and getting out. Funny enough, this story, and I tend to not be, let's see if I can get to focus. I don't think politics drives really good stories, but this was sort of my story about, about, in a lot of ways, what feminism does to people. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. It's kind of a crazy thing, because when I did this panel right here, you can actually see that this character and the young lady in this story are kind of almost like the same character, and it's like where she would go if she, allows for herself to reject this guy. So it's kind of really an interesting narrative to put together. But NOSFERO is just all my stories have got that little quality to them. Love this piece. This is influenced by the movie Frankenstein Conquers the World, the kaiju film Frankenstein Conquers the World. And I just thought it would be much cooler if Frankenstein was King Kong, more like a gorilla than a person, if you were going to do a giant Frankenstein. So this was my sort of Franken-Kong piece right here, and then I evolved the narrative, and there's the evolution of it. And I really intend to detail the living hell out of this. So my story I'm doing next. So yeah, when I look at this piece, you can just see how much I love to put detail into the work. I mean, guys, if there's one perk that I could tell people that they should back on NOSFERO if they haven't yet, and if they have the means to do it, is back the 3 art book set. Every time I sell those books, I sell them as a part of an increasingly bigger and bigger package. And the thing about that is that they're the cheapest they're ever going to be every campaign, because they're all first printings. And so that's the part of the campaign that I always tell people, jump on that, because these books they're beautiful. This is the paper. When people ask me about NOSFERO, the one thing I love to get into, can I get that to focus? Come on now, focus. There we go. The one thing I love to talk about is the paper stock on this, because NOSFERO, like all my books, is designed to be read and reread, and it's really great paper stock. It is not thin. And then there you go. There's Godzilla versus the Smog Monster, depending on if you're seeing it in the States or not. I believe it's Hedorah. And this piece is called Atomic Wrath. And love this one. And guys, when we're talking about the artwork I showed from 2002, that is, I want you to bear that in mind. Whatever things you're working on, whatever skills you're working on developing, just remember that, you put in those years and it works. It's what it's about. Oh, there's a character in Cecil's book that he said is based off of Linnea Quigley in Return of the Living Dead. I don't know if any of you guys know that movie, but in my pseudo Muka piece right here, I have a little nod to Linnea Quigley. Oh gosh, sorry guys. Yeah, tell the kids to get off. Stop torrenting. I'm sorry, I'm starting to lag. I might be putting the stream through a little too much. Yeah, that's how it's always gonna go. That's how it's always gonna go with me. And this is kind of dark, but this is one of those things I do. So on the tombstones in this piece, I've got Madame Leota from the Haunted Mansion's tombstone here. And then on this tombstone, I had Peter Cushing, who died in 1994, who's the face reference for this character right here. But then right here, I have myself, Shanthan Jetty, died in 2020. I made it out, but you know how it goes. And here's another vampire piece. I had a lot of fun painting her. There's this company that's called Art Models, and their website's posespace.com. And this is one of their models, Netta, that you can get photo reference of. And I think she made for a really great model for this piece. And then here's the process stuff. There's a guy named J.M. Dragunis who bought this tracing paper sheet right here, which is why he's credited as it's in his collection. And so, yeah, sometimes people will ask me if they can buy sketches or layout pages that they see me post. And, my wife is always open to that idea. So yeah, here's a good example. You were asking me, Stephen Rockwood, about my sketches and my layouts. This is a side-by-side. This is the sketchbook sketch for this piece. I don't know if I can get that to happen because it's such a dark page. So this is the sketchbook. There we go. This is the sketchbook version of the piece, and here's the final. So sometimes those things are pretty tight, and they're pretty consistent. And then you can see how much I change my work throughout the process. And then here's more sketches, which I think I've shown you guys previously. But this stuff, no one's ever seen on these streams. This stuff is, I've never shown these on this stream, so this stuff is new. And my favorite piece of all time. I know I always talk about it, but the best thing I think I've ever painted in terms of its idea and its conception is still going to be this piece right here. I love this piece. It's my love of King Kong, and it's my love. Yeah, it is Romero in there. Romero is Romero is the man. I've been watching a lot of George Romero this week. And so, guys, hey, listen, I know I'm starting to lag, and I think the quality of the stream is starting to go down. And hell, I think my quality's been off because it's been a crazy day. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. It's great to see you all. I'm going to make sure I play the my little dedication to the crack pack on my way out of the stream. But, guys, rest well. We're inside of... Let me just check the campaign right here and just see how many hours we have left. We are at... Is that real? Hold on a second. We're at 26 hours left, and we are at $85 away from hitting... I can't even believe that. We're $85 away from hitting 8K. We're so close, guys. So I'm going to be posting a lot tomorrow and trying to get the word out and, get to that end of that 30 days with as great of a total as we can. But I think we're well on our way. Billy, I am absolutely game for coming on a stream with you guys and talking about this. OC Steve, you just let me know, man. Yeah, guys, thanks so much for checking it out. John, hey, I'm just about to wrap up. John, you're killing me. But I'm sure you were watching a really, really great stream. And so I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to see you here, my friend. So yes, everybody who's been in the chat today, thank you so much for being here. I'm gonna be on my way because I do think I'm lagging, and we'll see where we go tomorrow, guys. So thank you guys for being here. I will see you soon, and take care of yourselves, and let's make this stuff happen. All right, gang. I will see you soon. And here we go. Let's make it happen.
Here's a little something for you busters. Yeah.
You're not even learning anything on the street.
Yeah.
You think I'm stupid, son?
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say to you, boy?
Yeah.
Do you?
What's up with that?
Look at me, damn it!
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack. What's up with
You
that?
smoke crack, don't you?
Y'all cowards don't even smoke crack.
Look at me, boy!
Hey to you,
You smoke crack, don't you?
don't even smoke crack.
You know what that does to you? Huh? You smoke crack, don't you?
Smoke crack.
Go on and do it expeditiously.
What's up with that?
It kills your brain cells, son. It kills your brain cells.
Don't even smoke crack.
No guts, huh?
NOSFERO is a supernatural hero that is a cross between the Shadow, Peter Cushing's Abraham Van Helsing, and Lovecraft's Henry Armitage. The lone surviving member of the secret holy order, he is sworn to battle a cult of vampires dedicated to opening the door to the eldritch gods they worship. Striking from his crypt lair deep within an impenetrable mire, NOSFERO collects the cult's various grimoire and artifacts in an attempt to learn the means of defeating them. NOSFERO, meaning Iron Nose, underwent the ritualistic binding to the spirit world, wherein members of the secret order have a shard from a holy sword driven through their noses to allow them to access supernatural abilities.